Hey, welcome to our next spiritual cafe. I'm very happy to see you on in this new year, 2026. Wonderful. And today we are going to discuss a quote that the three of us liked. It was, if you don't spend enough time getting to know yourself, you will end up absorbing everyone else's definition of you. And yeah, I don't know what that triggers for you today.
Go ahead, Hilda.
It sounds really simple when you first read it, but boy, is it big. It's really big for me. A lot of thoughts came, but I always like to find a little something, to get my brain started. And I found this, and it put me in a whole nother way. And the quote is by Wayne Dyer, and it says, when the ego tries to pull you towards fear, say out loud, I am enough. Don't try to do something you're not. It is not necessary to test yourself. You must not satisfy your ego with fears and keep your true self at bay. And I thought, wow, I never thought ego would be involved in being my true self. That was kind of not there for me. But then I thought about it again, and what came in for me is that so many times I try to think first what somebody else might need of me, not so much expect of me, but need of me, or how somebody else might like to come to something, or is it going to be right for everybody? So all of that comes in, and it really keeps me away. It kind of puts a burden then on my shoulders, and it keeps me away from the peaceful self in
Mhm.
myself that really doesn't have those expectations. And so I thought, wow, where do those expectations come from? And I know it's old things that, happen through life, but I also think, wow, if I think about it, it comes from that ego part of me that wants to satisfy maybe other people first. And I never thought that comes from ego. I
Mm.
never even went that way. And so I'm gonna really have to think about that. But I love that idea just to be myself and go from there
Mhm. That's
instead
true.
of having that pressure of that I put on myself. It's
Yeah.
not even somebody says, "Oh, I expect you to be there this time," or it's I do that already on my own. So I want to really try to just relax and to be in myself and don't put so much pressure on myself. So that came from me.
Wonderful. For me, the what helped me a lot is in one of the courses I followed at Mastering Alchemy, Jim Self was describing that 90% of the thoughts we have are not ours. They're coming from the parents, the teachers, the well, he says the ministers or whoever have put those thoughts in our brain, and then we try to manage within those. So I think that's going along with what you say about the ego. The ego tries to satisfy the surroundings and is taking into account those 90% of voices that are not ours. So the whole work was to discover the 10% and then clear the 90% and make it 100%
Yeah.
our own voice. And that journey was very interesting because that can be sometimes stupid things like judgment. You have a judgment against a person, a society, a culture, or whatever. And if you look back, those are just voices of your parents, or voices of the teachers, or voices, not even things that you have any relationship with from own experiences, just something that
Yeah.
happened to be expressed in your surrounding, and your ego picked it up as being important to survive.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about because I, coming from a background and in my life, I am an empath and an introvert. So thinking about my own thoughts comes very easy to me because I always am tuned in to what I think. However, what I present to other people, I learned early on, probably about age 3 in my memory, to become the chameleon. So the danger in that is I just became whoever I was with. I just became that person. And the next person, 10 seconds later, I would be that person. And then I would be the next person. And I just squashed myself because I was told that the way I thought was wrong and the way the questions that I asked were not good questions. They were bad questions. And I shouldn't be thinking those things, and on and on. And I know everyone experiences that. But as an empath, that I learned about later in life, that I am an empath, I know I'm an introvert, then I just shaped those things differently. I protected myself. So I always knew who I was and what I thought. And that's something I've always done is, what do I think about this? How do I feel about this? But to become that chameleon in order to survive, especially in corporate America, I'm sorry, but there's no way. You just get crushed by corporate America. But then the other thing that helped me, and Hilda, you've been part of this. Well, so have you, Helene. When I got into shamanic work and started having relationships with my helpers in the other realms, my teachers in the other realms, I'll ask for a lesson or some guidance or some advice, and they take me someplace. My current teacher does this all the time. He'll take me to a room and then he leaves and he says, see what you see, feel what you feel, hear what you hear, and experience what you experience. So you really have to be tuned into that experience and not thinking, oh, what would my mom say? Or what would my brother say? Or what would my neighbor say? You don't go there because you've got to be focused on, what do I think? What am I experiencing? And I think that's helped me a lot as well. And aging, I don't do the chameleon thing much anymore. I'm a little more outspoken. I let people just take it or leave it as they wish. I don't really worry about it as much as I used to. So I think there's a lot to be said for being age 70. You finally wake up to yourself and support yourself. So yeah, I like to always ingest what's around me and consider how I feel about it. For me, that's just the food of life.
Right.
That, yeah, and another thing that I thought, well, that helped me is one day a friend of mine told me that everything that happens outside of ourselves is a mirror of things that are going on in ourselves. And in the beginning, I was really upset with that because I mean, how can that be in a mirror? I mean, the my ego was absolutely not happy with that kind of perspective, and little by little, it became my perspective. I became aware that whatever my attention was attracted by reflected something that either still had to be healed, or something that needed to be taken care of. And that changed a lot because now my attention goes to a lot of nice things. So that's somewhere feeling, because that means that I am, yeah, my inner healing is progressing. There are still things that I don't like, so that I know that I still have to work on.
I like that thought, about looking at yourself more. And I've been thinking lately, I had wonderful dreams, and they were never about tests. And I thought, wow, this is wonderful, because a lot of dreams come to me anyway about, I have to accomplish something, or somebody is irritating me, or they're putting me through this test, and I got to fix something. But lately it's been, they're helping me, like
Wow.
the characters that show up, and it's coming from a whole different place. And so I'm thinking it's like a confirmation for me that, hey, there's this other way that to look at things, or these scenarios have changed and they've reached this other point. And I really like that. So I don't have to go, to that old situation anymore to figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so much easier. And also, I'm thinking about what I put on myself again. And I've been looking at my altar, and I really had that determination. Okay, on the end of the year, everything goes. The old medicine didn't have any more energy power, and I realized something in me just did not want to do that. Did not want to get that release about, okay, letting this go and creating something easy and beautiful to start. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just really questioning that, because it's like I put a deadline again on myself, like, okay, this is where everything ends and this is where everything starts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so crazy, because it again puts pressure on me. And why am I say, I thought, why am I doing this to myself? Because I have all this time, maybe I'm not finished with some of this stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and or I think I have to do it this way to finish it, and I really don't. I
Mm-hmm.
want to let it go, but there's this turmoil going on within myself that is really part of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's wonderful that you honor yourself in that and not commit so much to the timeline as you are to how do I feel about it. And just as a side note, I want to let you know, as a result of what you said about the altars, I did change my altar. And mostly I added a couple of things, but mostly what I did was rearranged things so that they're in a different format. And I really like that. And then I added what Helene had said about, the little, I didn't have a puppet, so I made a little pyramid and I put that on my altar. And so I think it's great to listen to what you need. And I am really happy to hear you say that, that you're not ready yet and you're honoring that. That's wonderful.
well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome.
I think the pressure that we uh, put on ourselves to be perfect, or to be delivering things on time, or those are the voices that are not ours, because
Mm,
our higher self, he's the
Mhm.
timing is always perfect,
yeah.
as long as it is aligned with our higher self. And this is also something that came in on my path, is that connection with the higher self. Check with your higher self. Is this in my highest and best good?
Yeah.
Is it in my best and highest good to do this now, or should I wait? And
Mm,
that is an
Mhm.
allowing that uh, gives me a lot of freedom. And sometimes I
Mhm.
do forget to do it. a lot of times. But when I do it, it's always rewarding because
Mhm.
then you really sense that you're not alone, that you are guided, and but you have to take out the noise that has been building up over the years. The
Yeah.
ego is trying to protect us, building up, building up. But if you put that aside and just listen in the now to what is it the best for me in this moment, timing
Mhm.
is absolutely perfect all days.
Mhm.
Mhm. Mhm. For sure.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And the other day, this is a silly, funny story, but our power went out just for a little bit, and I thought, oh, snow is coming. That was in my brain, and I love snow. It's just so peaceful. It covers everything up. The world stops. Your brain stops thinking,
Yeah.
and you can just be at home and things like that. And I felt so at ease with that part. And I thought, wow, it's like, oh, didn't have to think anything, or it was really strange, but I loved that feeling that I had, and I thought, oh, I want to stay in that feeling all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking now that ego voice stopped, and
Ah.
I was just in the accepting what was and the peace
Mhm.
about the snow. And then, like 5 minutes later, here was power came back on, and I thought, darn, I wanted snow to come, and I wanted to just kick back and be at ease, don't think about anything.
Yeah.
So that gave me a moment of how good that feels.
Mhm.
When I'm just with me, when
Yeah.
Yes.
my brain's not going into another direction, and I want to do that more. I want to
Mm.
I want to just think of me first, not in a selfish way, but okay,
Mhm.
what does Hilda need to do about this, or what do I even want to do about something, or give myself the freedom. Hey, I don't have to do anything about this.
Right.
Why think about it? Nobody asked me, right? So
Absolutely. And I'm sorry, I just had something popping in when you were talking about the snow and what it does with you. I wonder, snow is, those are crystals. So
Mm.
yes,
everything becomes crystalline when the
Yeah.
snow and the
yes.
atmosphere is crystalline. Maybe that's why we have that special feeling because we
Mhm.
get that crystal energy, that frequency where, yeah, everything is in
Mhm.
harmony.
Yeah.
So,
Mm, good
Yeah.
point.
I love
Mm,
how snow makes everything silent, So for
yes.
a person like me, I don't care much for noise, because I do like to digest everything around me. But when there's snow, traffic stops, work stops, school stops, everything stops. And if you do anything, it's going to be fun because you're going to go play in the snow. And so it just changes the whole atmosphere around you and the atmosphere of just people's energy. They become
Yeah.
happy. It's a change and it's fun. I agree
Mhm.
with you so much on that.
Good point.
yeah, it's an interesting reflection to see, in fact, our journey and look back on what it is that influenced us and where we are now and the decision we can make because we are now at a point in our life that it's okay to just decide what we want to do and we do not need to do it for the beautiful eyes of somebody else, if you want to say.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's
yeah,
Mm.
very.
so
Yeah,
are
I
there
have.
tools that really were important for you in that process?
You mean like just the what the quote is about?
Yes. Are
Yeah.
there I don't know, Sandy is now has talked about shamanism. That I think has also been important for you,
Mm-hmm.
Hilda.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a big tool to go to a deeper level and to know yourself, no?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think when I do go into that place that maybe what you say, higher self, then all of a sudden that part of me can come out that is happy, that is playful, that just goes with the flow of the energy that comes in. And and it makes me think right now, that if I'm if I go into that flow, then everything's easy. There's no judgment there. There's total acceptance of what is, an appreciation of the help that comes in, but the brain is not involved.
Yeah.
The brain is just basking in it, and oh, it feels so good. And that's, I think, where that part of shamanism is really has made a big difference for
Mhm.
me too. It's quiet that other voice more.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it brings you from your lower mind to your higher mind, and then to your higher self. So it is a special experience. It's an uh, I was a very brainy person as a younger woman, and all those different tools like shamanism, but also I think for me the Enneagram. So as a
Mm.
tool was very important for me to understand myself, but also to understand that there are different types of people, different um, types of path, that not everybody's life path has to be the same. Where
Mm-hmm.
before maybe the brain was always trying to put everybody in a
Yeah.
box in the same direction, where
Hmm.
it's okay that there are so many different boxes or different paths to get to the results. And little by little that helps them to move from the lower mind to the higher mind, because you
Mm-hmm.
see a higher perspective of people, but also most importantly yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That's
agree with
fun.
your use of like a personality profile kind of system. And there are a lot of those out there. Some resonate more with me than others, but other people resonate more with those that don't resonate with me. So that's totally fine. And I think exactly what you said is it helps us to see that there isn't just one size fits all. It is
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more information about me and how I process information. And then I can apply that out in life in a broader perspective. So I think those are excellent tools. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
there's one good one, the
Yes.
16personalities.com. That's, I don't know if you know that, Hilda. It's a fun one. It's free
That's my
online.
favorite. That one resonated most with me over all the rest of them, and it nailed me
Yeah,
right spot
mm,
on.
well,
it's free online, and it's really it's fun.
It is. It is.
and
Yeah.
what is it called again? It sounds interesting.
16personalities.com.
16. Okay. And I had another thought, what changed my life as I got to know more people that were like-minded. That's meaning not that they thought like me, but just that ease of being in that same quest. And growing up, I had shamanic experiences, but nobody to talk to about. And so it was more based on a fear, probably, because they came and they weren't fun experience like I look at it now. They were more like, oh, this is scary. What is this about? So I appreciate being in a communities that are like-minded, and
Mhm.
it does help me to grow in that way, to be in that higher minded place and to be in that crystalline place. And I love that anyway.
Mhm.
I love the energy of that.
Yeah.
And it is like everything fades away, it seems like,
Mhm.
when you're in that flow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a wonderful way to close our cafe. We have, I think, about 20 minutes now. So
Mm.
it's wonderful to be with the three of you, two of you with me, three,
Three of
the
us.
three of
Three of
us.
us.
You see, me, myself, and my higher self.
Oh my God.
So thank you so much for joining me. And well, we'll see each other on the next cafe.
Yeah, it
That's
was
great.
wonderful. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
now.
Bye.
Bye.